playing on the words, me'olam, me'ad olam, from the initial concealment, olam, leha'alim, the process of concealment of creating the world is called leha'alim, to make an olam, to the most mundane aspects of olam, of world. You alone have always been and will always be the single force that moves all. Ata'el, ata'el, you're above. When Tashev Enosh Ad Daka, which is the verse that Rabbi Nachman start with, Tashev Enosh Ad Daka v'tomer shuba b'nei Adam, when men have fallen and forfeited their status as men, when they've fallen under the dominance of time and become fooled by the Nachash, by death, by all the things that go on in this world, which is antithetical to Yisrael, which is Yashar El, which is the breaking forth out of time into eternity. You bring them low until they are crushed. You then extend a hand to help them begin again, saying, return to me, children of Adam. So it's a whole process here in one verse. You allow people to go very low, and then you extend a hand to help them come back. And you say, Shuvu, Shuba b'nei Adam, come back. You can come back. You can reconnect to me, no matter what you've done, no matter how far you've gone away. Because I am above time. When indeed in your eyes 1,000 earth years are like a single day gone by, again giving us the perspective of little time to big time. God is big time. 1,000 years are like a single day gone by, like a night watch that passes in the blink of an eye. In Europe, from your perspective, earth time is like absolutely right. Why do we need this? We don't live on this level. Why do we need Moshe Rabbeinu to tell us this? Why do we need him to give us a Torah? Rabbi Nachman is absolutely on fire with this psalm. He's going to see every verse is going to be another powerful thing to lift us up above time. We don't understand again what time is. He's going to use the word like they use it in the Talmud. When you learn Gemara, you don't learn the definition of the words. You learn that after 3 or 4 pages have been talking about something, and you say, oh, God, that's what they were talking about. Why didn't they tell me when I first started? That's not how they work. They use the ideas, and the ideas become Lego blocks, and they use them, and they connect them, and they use the word over and over again, and then you say, this is driving me crazy. I don't understand what this word is. But that's how it goes inside, and now you can now say, if they would have given me a definition, it would have killed it. And I never would have gotten it. This way they play, they throw it around with each other. They do. It's a living thing. So therefore, what it means to be living above time, we don't know what it means yet. L'mala me'azman. So life is slept away as it flows into the currents of unrelenting time. Wow. Life is slept away. Sheina, sleep. As it flows into the currents of unrelenting time. In its morning it is like grass that sprouts anew. In the morning it blossoms and grows tall. By evening it withers and dries. What? Life. But that also doesn't help. What does it mean, life? Life is slept away, and in the morning life blossoms and grows tall, and in the evening life withers and dries. In the same way we feel ourselves consumed by your anger. We are terrified of your burning wrath. You have set our wrongdoings before yourself. The secrets of our youth lie exposed to the light of your scrutiny. All of our days on earth have thus waned in your displeasure. We dissipated our years like a mist. It's not that Hashem is... The anger here is used because Hashem says, you had I want to give you every chance to know that you can be above time. I created time, for sure, and time has its reasons, but don't get stuck in it, because when you do, I'm telling you, not that it's literal displeasure. I'm so sorry that I did that. I gave it to you because I had to make a world of free will. But it gets carried away, and there's Hamans, and there's Ahmadinejabs, and there's Khomeinis, and there's Taliban, and there's people who become completely consumed with what they think life is about, and that's God's displeasure. That's like, and it's almost over. The years of our lives number 70, and if we are strong, 80, but the honor we attain in our short lives is wearisome and futile, for the end cuts us off swiftly, and everything we have done flies away. It's a very sober way of looking at the 70 years. Who really understands the reason for the intensity of your anger, or that your displeasure is proportionate to one's fear of you? If I have more reverence for you, more awareness of you in my life, you're pleasured with me, you're pleased with me. If I don't, if I sink myself down and completely disconnect from the internalness of your being, then your displeasure grows, because that's not what you created me for. Teach us, therefore, to number our days, so we will require a wise and understanding heart. Return, Hashem. How much longer will your anger last? Reconsider and think favorably about your servants. Saturate us every morning with your loving kindness. When we know that you love us, we will be able to sing with happiness and rejoice throughout all our days, and even the dark nights of our suffering. Grant us joy corresponding to the number of days of our affliction. Grant us years for every day we saw trouble. That's based on the Midrash. The Midrash says that Hashem has in store for us such joy that it will be years for every day we suffered. Because eternity and time is that relationship. The whole thing is this deep teaching about time. Again, let the truth of your actions become evident to your servants. Break through so that we can know you in the midst of our lives. Let your splendor rest upon your children. May Hashem's pleasantness flow down upon us. His Noam, his Bina, which is a code word for Olam Haba. May the pleasantness of Hashem, of His true desire to give us eternity, flow down upon us and into our lives. May He establish our efforts above in eternity. May He establish our efforts down below in this world. It's very deep, but I just wanted to, it's the whole teaching, just that Psalm, Psalm 90. So Rabbi Nachman says, this is what it means in Tehillim Tzadik 90, Teshev Enosh Adakah. You crush a man, and you say, return, O children of men. For 1,000 years in your eyes is as a day gone by, and as a watch in the night. And it's underlined, Ki kolam mizmor hazeh medaber mehevel hazman. This whole psalm talks about the vanity of time. Shu ketzel over, it's like a passing shadow. Mahmat shebe'emet en shum zman klal, because the truth is, time doesn't exist. It's an illusion. Ki hazman hu rak mechisaron hadat, because time, or clock time, is only when we lose consciousness of eternity. It's just like when you sleep. The smaller your consciousness becomes, the more time seems to grow. So you can live in 15 minutes of sleep. You can live 70 years. It's a famous teaching from Rabbi Nachman. He has it right here. That one little dream, which is a few seconds, can seem like a long time. And he plays on this in a number of places. So it's a deep philosophy that he's putting forth, and he goes through this for a few pages, and he says that's why we do Ibur Hashanah on the next page. That's why we make a month of Adar 1 month. Sometimes, once in a while, we take the last month of the year and we make it pregnant. We do what's called Ibur. We make it into 2 months. And he says this is another aspect of the Chachmei Yisrael, of the sages of Israel, the tzaddikim, overcoming time, right? Lifting time up above time, so to speak. And I'll just read the underlined parts on page 2 at the top. Kidei laha'alot hazman, that we do the concept of Ibur Hashanah is when necessary, we want that the solar year should be that the lunar year should be in sync with the solar year, because the lunar year is shorter, and therefore we will have to hold it back once in a while and add an extra month so that it lines up with the solar year, so that springtime comes in Adar and Nisan, and not what happens with the Arab calendar, because it's totally a lunar calendar. And it's a Christian calendar, it's only a solar calendar. And our calendar, from biblical times, was a solar lunar, which is a concept of male-female, which is a concept of perfection, of you can't have just male or female. Anyway, the underline says, as Kedei Lahalot Azman, the reason we do this is Kedei Lahalot Azman, to elevate time, Likoshro, to connect it, Ulevatlo, B'vchinat Lamala Me'azman, to connect it and to subsume it into the concept called above time. The next underlined is back below is Sheniske Kulana, that all of us will merit Al Yidei Kiddushat Azmanim, through the holiness of time, which is Purim, Passover, Shavuot, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. Through that, we will merit Letzet Mitachat Azman, to come forth from under time, V'lezakot Leda'at Shalem, and to be worthy of complete, perfected consciousness, Lehitkasher, to connect, V'lehikalel, and to be subsumed, to be included in, to be integrated into the higher level, into what's called B'vchinat Lamala Me'azman. So this is typical, where he's not using Kabbalistic terms. He's using a recurring term called Lamala Me'azman, Lamala Me'azman, like the Beit HaMikdash, the Holy of Holies, is Lamala Me'amakom, Lamala Me'azman. It's above time, it's above space. And this is what's in the middle. This is what Yaakov Avinu represents in the middle of the concentric circles. Is he represents the tzaddik who connects the ladder, connects to heaven, who shows us that each one of us can connect to above time, and that our whole lives can be lived in a much different way. And when Klal Yisrael forgets this, we become assimilated into the four exiles. We think that we are Americans or Nigerians or anything. And of course, we can act, we're different than Islam. Islam remains a pariah within any civilization that it goes into. It tries to make it into itself. Whereas we're able to live in America. It's fantastic. We love the freedom. We can even live in Russia and be Jews. And we're very good citizens. We're not disruptive. Like people themselves have said, this Arab woman whose life is in danger because she said it, the Jews don't go around burning things and destroying things. They do Nobel Prizes. They create. They contribute. So we're facing here a life versus a death concept. I'm sorry to say that this is what the end of history is going to be like. Is death is knocking in our doors, and we have to accentuate life. And the only way to do life is to go up above to the higher level. It seems like maybe sometimes I'm almost about to say something, and then you say, you're not giving it to us. So I want it as much as you do. I want it as much as you do. I know that, just say a little bit more from Rabbi Nachman, and then we'll try not to go on too long.
You gotta finish it though, no?
We have to, we're going to now go into in the bottom half of this page. It's called Chaf Aleph.